Somebody's got to weep and cry and stay awake at night and intercede in prayer. Then we'll go take a vacation and we'll come back and do some more of this. If there's no burden of heart, no longing, crying, praying for people to be saved, we will not see a church in travail, and people will not be born into the kingdom of God. When Zion travailed, children were born into the kingdom of God. If we find a church in travail, it will be a church with a burden for people to be saved. We will be wearing our heart on our sleeve, persuading men. Just be a fool for Christ. If somebody practices 30 years to just have their elocution perfect, my God, how long have you been where you are, and can you win a soul in a year? Is that too strong? Well, I'm not a preacher. If I were, I'd preach. But I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve. How long has it been since you've seen a congregation bowed before the Lord, agonizing because of their burden for the lost? Has the agonizing for souls left us? It seems it has, but the doctrine is forever. It does not change. For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth children. Without travail, people will not be born into the kingdom of God. I pray it because of the times 2010. God in heaven pours out on us a spirit of intercession until we bow. Our churches bow. Our churches bow. Our churches bow in travail and agonize in prayer because of the tragedy of the lost. For when Zion travails, she will bring forth her children. When mamas and daddies travail, they will bring forth their children. When preachers and preachers' wives travail, they will be leaders for their church to pray and fast and travail and reach for souls. We, by prayer and fasting, reaching beyond the atmospheric heavens and take hold of the spiritual resources of the celestial realm. There is no age limit. From the youngest to the oldest can pray. The cripple can pray in your church. The rich can pray in your church. The poor can pray in your church. The educated can pray in your church. The illiterate can pray in your church. There are no rejects in this great army of prayer warriors. We cannot do more than pray after we have prayed, but we cannot do more than pray until we have prayed. And whether you know it or not, your prayers have the power to change the past and heal it and shape the future. I'm calling myself on a different commitment to prayer than I ever have in all of my life. Will anybody join me by throwing up both hands and saying, our churches are going to become houses of prayer. Prayer is essential for God's will to be done in your family. Prayer is essential for God's will to be done in your church. All that God is, all that God has, you can receive through prayer. How many of you want a revival in your church? As soon as Zion travailed, everything you need, you may be seated or whatever, everything you need to fulfill your purpose on earth is available to you through prayer. Prayer moves the hand of God that rules the universe. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying, because the true church and to us individually, God is calling us to something we've never been called to before. I intend to move up and move out. How about you? You know how Jesus responded when they rejected him on any of this that we've heard? He just said, your house shall be left unto you desolate. It's going to be a desolation if we don't hear this preaching and all that's been demonstrated to us here at this meeting. Your house will be left unto you desolate. Spiritual barrenness. A house divided against itself. That's why we're here, folks. If we've been spared to live that people might be saved, then let's live to see people saved. Let's weep over the erring ones. Let's weep for our children. Let's weep for our companions and our fathers and our mothers. our missing in action, our prodigals. If God can use a Jonah, he can use you and them. If God can bring a John Mark back, and an uncle of his restored him, and he wrote one of the most fabulous gospels, the shortest gospel, but so much about Jesus Christ and his miracles. Ask God to break your heart. Ask God to just let you weep and weep and weep and travail until you see something break in your church where souls are saved and people are born into the kingdom of God. Christmas night, we were in the home with Michael and Jeff. Brother and Sister Hennigan were there. Gerald and I and Anthony and Mickey. We began to pray for Brother Hennigan, and little Eva went into a travail. She has travailed for him every night since his illness. I'm sure that's why he's still alive. But when I saw that scene that night, I thought, God, if I were lost, would Anthony and Mickey and Gentry and Michael and Jeff, would they pray for me like this child has prayed for her grandfather that she loves so much? I wish God would break our heart for souls. I wish God would I wish we would get as disturbed about a soul as we are somebody dying with cancer. I wish our churches could wake up to the real importance and the value of a soul like we are somebody being healed of cancer. I want it all, folks, but a soul that's going to be in hell forever and ever. I wish God would wake this because of the times. I wish it'd wake us up. Somebody just shout that with me. Wake us up. Wake us up. Wake us up. Are there any souls in your city? Go ahead for a few minutes, folks, because we want it. I know we've had all the other, but it's got to sink in. When you read the biographies of every great man used of God in his generation, he was a praying man, a lover of the word, a soul-loving man, a generous and liberal man. Most gave away everything they had. They were men of compassion, men of tears, men with a burden, men who prayed. Some actually prayed themselves to death. You know why? They believed intercession was the test of the prophetic office. They believed the church, by virtue of her faithful use of persistent, consistent, fervent use of prayer, controlled the balance of power, not only in world affairs, but also in the salvation of their family and themselves and individual souls. They believed souls were more valuable than anything in this world. That's the kind of men God used. By practice and precept, they wore their heart on their sleeve, not their feelings, to persuade men. Preachers, lead us. Lead us to prayer. Lead us to win souls. Lead us to love the word. Lead us. Somebody shout that with me. Lead me. Lead me. Showcase it for me. Let me see you do some of it. Oh, have we taught our people to pray, to give, to love souls more than things? If the people you pastor go to the judgment having only rarely, if ever, carried a great intercessory burden for reaching the unsaved, whom will God hold accountable? Are they wasting God's love for the lost because we failed to bring it to them? Are they wasting Christ's blood shed for all men, not willing that any should perish? Oh, Jesus said, if you'll follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. I'll make you persuaders of people. If you're not fishing, if you're not persuading men, technically, then you are not following him. So there's blood on our hands. Bloody, bloody, bloody hands of the souls that's dying lost, and say they're all around us. Look up, lift up your eyes and look. Say they're all around us. I cannot bribe time. Time is taking from me my energy, my step, the brightness of my eye. They were read this morning. My hearing, my recall, my firm